welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. And in today's video, we are going to be covering the big breaking news regarding former Barcelona president Joan Laporta, who this evening has confirmed he's going to run again in 2021. And with him, he has proposed bringing Pep Guardiola back to the club. What do we make of that? What exactly has he said? It's all coming up in full detail in today's video. So let's get right to it. Because when it comes to Joan Laporta, he is certainly a very familiar figure when it comes to Barcelona, and usually a very popular one too. Of course, he led the club as president from 2003 to 2010. In that period there, that was the most successful period in the entirety of the club's history, with Laporta particularly forming a strong and very trusting relationship with Pep Guardiola, who he actually gave the first big break in coaching. That there was thanks to Laporta, and of course over the years, Pep more than paid back that trust, he more than paid back that faith, with an abundance of titles in Laporta's time as president. And naturally, whenever you hear about the potential of Laporta returning to the helm at Barcelona, there's always going to be a bit of excitement. The nostalgia starts to play a part, of course, but in today's video, we're going to be talking about exactly what Laporta has said, because very recently, about 3 weeks or so ago now, there was rumours that Laporta would again run as a presidential candidate when the time comes in 2021, when he basically hinted there that he was trying to put together a team of people that he trusted, and he was working on an exciting project that would be to come. And this evening, 3 weeks on from that hint, he has confirmed it. During an interview this evening with TV3, Laporta confirmed the project was indeed a work in progress, and he will stand to be Barcelona president during the elections in 2021. Now, of course, following that big announcement there from Laporta, which of course is going to generate big news within the Catalan community, Laporta then went on to discuss a number of problems that he felt the club had right now, how he would solve them, and also what his ambitions would be with a view there to his presidential campaign. Because if you think back there to the 2015 elections where Bartomeu, following the treble win, got re-elected, Laporta's campaign during the run-up there to those elections, it wasn't strong. He relied there, I feel, too much on his reputation and not so much there on the plan that he had to take the club forward, and you'd imagine that he'd be learning from those mistakes. He said Barcelona find themselves right now in a dramatic situation, he said, both financially and also in terms of the image of the club. We are working on a proposal to reverse this situation that the club finds itself in. He said, I'm excited about it, I've been president before, and I'm looking forward to continuing my work for the club. And Laporta, to be fair to him, has been very critical right throughout Bartomeu's time at the club. He's been very critical of the way the club is to be managed, the mismanagement, of course, that has gone on now for several years, and ultimately, it has indeed tarnished the club's image, which will have hurt Laporta. He wouldn't have liked to seen what he built up there alongside Pep, along with the many good memories there they built upon at Barcelona. Suddenly now, under Sandro Rosell, and then of course Bartomeu, things have started to go downhill, and pretty rapidly indeed. And like I say, he is somebody who cares about the club. That will have hurt him, and he now wants to hit back. Laporta then went on to speak about his dream of a return to the Camp Nou for Pep Guardiola as the Barcelona coach. Laporta said, I would very much like Guardiola to come back to Barca, but right now he is at Man City, and it would be a decision that Pep would have to make. He is a benchmark for Barcelona, and I know many Catalans would love him to be coach of Barcelona again. And quite clearly, that is the dream. That there would be the dream of Laporta, to get himself back into power as Barcelona and to ultimately bring back the man who made his tenure so successful. Those two there, along with, of course, the hierarchy which Pep now has taken to Man City, they were sort of the dream team at Barcelona at the time. And of course, Pep would be a massive figure in any potential campaign from Laporta. What I have to say here, though, is he didn't promise anything. He didn't say there, Pep's coming back. We've got to make that absolutely clear right now. He did say it's a dream. It really is right now. And that's all, because Pep right now is at Man City. He's been very adamant he's going to see out his contract, which coincidentally does expire in 2021. You could say very good timing. But we're going to talk in just a moment a bit more there about whether or not Pep would return. But it was also important there and interesting to note that Laporta Laporta admitted he'd also be open to Xavi Hernandez as the Barcelona coach. He said Xavi is already a coach. He lives for football. He did say, though, in 2021, there will still be players at the club who are Xavi's teammates, and he must think if he is prepared to lead those former teammates, which is not an easy thing. Laporta did concede, though, that he hadn't actually spoken with Xavi about any of these matters as of yet, because Xavi, of course, does seem very, very closely associated with Victor Font, who could well be Laporta's big rival in this election. Laporta said, I haven't spoken to Xavi about any of these issues. He's an honest man. He knows a lot about football. He will make the right decision. He will know when the time is right to coach Barcelona. Laporta also admitted that he's not just thinking about changing coaches either, admitting, I am already thinking of a new coach. I'm already thinking of a new technical secretary and also a new director of La Masia. And it is interesting there to see Laporta speak in a little bit of detail about what he hopes, what he would like to bring to the club. But it's very, very important here to just outline exactly what goes on during this period before an upcoming election. Because if you haven't experienced a presidential election at Barcelona before, this is exactly the kind of stuff that goes on. What you're going to see now, right the way up until 2021, is names being thrown around. You're going to see potential signings just dangled in front of all of our faces. You're going to see potential coaches. Everything that you can imagine there to drum up interest, to drum up certainly attention to your campaign, you are going to see it. And it's exactly like when you see politicians on the TV in your countries, it's all the same sort of stuff. They'll make a list of promises, they'll say they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Do they actually do any of it? Most of the time, many of those promises actually fail to come into effect. So what the key is, during these election periods, it's about deciding who's genuine, who cares, who has an actual plan, and who is not really going to follow up on those claims. Now, personally, looking here at the comments made by Joan Laporta, I think personally, he is a good guy. He is somebody you have to say he cares about the club. And to be fair, he's been there and he's done it. He's been the president of this club. It was very, very successful. He made so many good decisions. He's such a big part of the history, and I'll always, always, always be grateful to him for that. The question would be, though, from me, is this the time now to step back into the past? Because that's ultimately what we would be doing if we then went and elected Joan Laporta. Because on many, many occasions, not just in football, but in life in general, it's often proven there that the second time around, it's so much harder. It's so much more difficult there the second time around because people know what's coming. People have seen it before and people can react to that. And also, that second time around, it often proves to be less successful too. And that would be my concern, not only there for Laporta returning, but also in some ways for Pep Guardiola. Because although many of us here, we love Pep, we would take Pep returning to Barcelona, of course we would. But I genuinely believe here that Pep right now, he's got no interest in coming back. And that's not because he doesn't care. He too loves the club. He is still a proud Catalan, a proud Barcelona fan. And quite clearly, he still has a huge connection to the club. But that doesn't mean that he wants to come back and have all of that pressure, all of that expectation once again, resting on the shoulders when he's going to be coaching the club that he loves. Because you think about it right now, there's enough pressure on the shoulders of coaches as it is, without actually coaching there a team that you have a real connection with a city there that you do love with all your heart. That would bring so much more. And as you can see, Pep only lasted 4 years during his time at Barcelona previously. The reason for that is he was drained. He was physically and mentally drained by the whole thing. And imagine now him coming back to try to replicate what he once did. That would be so difficult, so demanding. And that's what I mean. Are we ready there to step back into the past? Can we actually replicate what we once did all those years ago to such huge success? Is it possible to do it again? Or is now maybe the time to move on to something new, something fresh? And by that, of course, I am looking there towards Victor Font. But I have to say, as of right now, I've got no political preference. Anybody right now, apart from the current board, I will take it at Barcelona. I'm very much happy to listen there to the plans of Joan Laporta. I'm very happy to listen to the plans of Victor Font. And whoever has the best plan, whoever has the best vision for the club, I'll happily go with them. But at the same time, my biggest concern here with Laporta and Font potentially going head to head is quite clearly that divide. That split there of votes that could happen given the fact that they're going to be rivaling each other. You imagine it there. You've got two people, two very popular people, I would imagine, two people there with exciting ideas to take over as the Barcelona president. But You can only vote for one. You can't there go and vote for both of those men. So suddenly there, you're having to pick and choose. You're having to put your vote one way. You're having to put the other. Those votes there are going to get split. You're not going to have as many there dominating the one side of the election. And what that means is, and this is my worry, that you leave that door open, that suddenly you don't have there an overwhelming favourite. You have a few votes for Font, a few votes for Laporta, and then suddenly round the back, somebody from Bartomeu's board, somebody there with an association to Bartomeu, slips in and gets elected. That is what we have to. That is what we have to avoid. We cannot allow anybody, not anybody connected with Bartomeu to get in charge of this club in 2021. And that's why, for me, we need an outright favourite. In an ideal world, you would hope there that maybe Victor Font and Laporta could work together. They could both come together there. Laporta, having been there and done it with all that experience, all of that know-how, clearly he has what it takes there to be a leader. And then you've got Font, who's got the plan, who's got the backing, who's got the vision of an entire project there about the future of Barcelona. Couldn't they work together and really take Barcelona by storm? That would be incredible. That would be the dream. But right now, it is not the case. They are running as individuals, but there's plenty more time to go. There's plenty more that we're going to hear about this in the build-up to 2021. But I had to bring you there the quotes from Laporta, and in particular, to tackle head-on that Pep Guardiola question. Please leave your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. What do you make there of what Laporta has said? And do you feel as though Pep would come back? Or has his time been and gone? For all of that success, it would be so hard for me to do it again. Let me know all of those thoughts down below. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. I really, really do appreciate your support. But until next time, as always, Visca el Barça!